A lot of people was asking and wanted to kind of know my story and kind of how I came to start building drums here in South Georgia. Well, I used to be a full-fledged BMX rider. Like going to X Games, really trying to become a professional bike rider. There wasn't no skate parks around to ride on, so we basically had to build all our own stuff. Like we made ramps just kind of leaned up against some trees. Bending of some boards against the trees to actually doing some research to see how they build them. We went to some skate parks in Florida, rode some parks a little bit. I was observing the ramps more so, kind of seeing how they build the transitions and everything. So I started working with wood. Never done nothing like that before. My dad was always great, could do a little bit of everything. He could do electrical work, carpentry work, anything. But he wasn't like focused in carpentry. He was actually did electrical work. So after that, I started just learning how to build these ramps and working with wood. And so I decided I really liked this, and I was kind of at a young transition. In reality, I know I'm not going to be a BMX player. So I may want to think about something else. At that time, my Uncle George was building houses, and he kind of gave me some advice, just kind of do what you feel like in your heart. And I really wanted to build and create, really sure where I was supposed to go. So I started to go down and do carpentry at a local tech school, sign up for residential carpentry. Got into there. At that time, my sister was dating an owner of a cabinet shop, needed a part-time job, started working there, building cabinets, didn't even know how to read a tape measure, and I was like in my early 20s. So I still then I started to kind of tinker around with the drums a little bit about that time. In my mid-20s, about 26 before I even sat behind a drum kit, period. I'm 39 now. I started playing the drums and just kind of really got into that, almost kind of like while I was into the BMX. So I figured out that being a full-time BMXer was not practical, and I wasn't gonna be able to do that. So I started to learn all I could about drums and construction of drums, and at that point I didn't even know anything about stave drums. There really wasn't a whole lot of Google searching and stuff like that. I basically just created an idea, created it, and was thinking that this is the exact way how I should do it. So basically 14 years ago I started doing kind of this drum company based on a theory and an idea that I've never seen before. 14 years ago, you really did not see a whole lot of drum builders building drums out of solid wood. It was traditionally plywood. Actually, I kind of thought I was the very first one to ever do it. Later on, found out that I wasn't. Thought about it, how I could do it. I literally just put the angles together and glued them, shot them down, and just kind of did it like that. Actually, I used a nail gun. I glued them. My staves were real short, and I couldn't get it perfectly round, so I had to belt sand it round. And I sit there fiddle, and it took me weeks to do. Finally, when I was finished with it, I tuned it up. I had an old cheap Pacific drum set that I took all the hardware off of it, and I used that hardware on my shells. And I had some buddies of mine. We started a band up, and with the band going, I was like, I'm gonna play my own drum set. Didn't have a badge or anything, and I really remember this distinctly. My buddy John Reiser, he was my buddy John. He said, you should start you a company, a drum company called Outlaw Drums, and do it out of reclaimed lumber, because I love reclaimed lumber too. So basically, I had a love for heart pine. I mean, you can ask my mom, I would cut pieces of heart pine, you know, and bring it back home, you know, and just like, you know, I just love the smell of it. I love the history behind it. I started tearing down old houses, finding old windows, and just kind of reclaiming all that stuff. Just really move forward with that, and basically just kind of build a business on that. That's kind of how I started doing it. So started doing the drums, started perfecting them, started getting some players, started going to drum shows, went to the drum show, boom, we started talking to the guys from Musician's Friend. Next thing I know, they want 100 snare drums in their stores. And so we just kind of started moving from that. You know, like Todd Zuckerman from Styx, you know, has one of our drums. One Republic, he found us on Instagram and was like, Eddie, he was like, hey, I want one of y'all's drums. Bought 5 of them right there for his shows that he plays on tour now. You know, just crazy, like Casting Crowns, some of those guys are playing some of the stuff. Just really blows me away. Everything just kind of unfolds, and it's definitely a blessing, and I love doing what I do every single day.